Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Today is going to be the Glitch is Selfish Day. What do I mean by that? I mean that there are some replays that I want to watch, so I'm just going to watch them and I'm going to cast them, and those are going to be the ones that go up on my channel today. That's just going to be it. Lately, I've really realized that my TVP knowledge is super weak. My TVP knowledge is by far my weakest matchup, and just in terms of knowledge of the matchup. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Today I just downloaded this replay of two Grandmasters playing on the North American ladder, and I'm just going to analyze it. I'm just going to go through it. I might pause a couple of times throughout. I might check out a couple of things. I don't know, but it's selfish glitch analysis day. All right. I hope that's cool with you guys. Let's introduce the players here. Spawning in the top left position as the red Terran player, we have Fubar. Let's not talk about what that stands for. Let's just go right to our bottom right player. Spawning as the blue Protoss player, we have TubbyTheFat. Now that is an awesome name. I'm loving the name of TubbyTheFat. Alright, so a couple of Grandmaster players. So let's see how both these players are going to be opening. So far from TubbyTheFat, we've just got a normal pylon, normal 13 gateway, and on the outside of Fubar we are opening with a barracks and a gas geyser. So most likely going to be going into a Reaper opening here. Gonna see what he's going to choose to do with that. I think that's going to be the most likely form of harass, and I don't know whether it's the same as against Zerg. A Terran player who goes Reaper against Zerg, usually, assuming the Zerg goes 15 hatch first, means you can get about one drone kill if you're really, if your opponent doesn't have really crazy micro. If you watch players like Stefano and some of the pro level players that are just so good with their drone micro, they're able to fend off the Reaper with just drones. I'm not able to do that. I usually lose one or two drones, but I don't know if that's going to be the case here for Protoss as well. I don't know if it's standard for them to lose a worker or two to that Reaper, because we do see that Reaper is now coming down, and I don't know, we don't see any mothership coming out yet, and there actually hasn't even been a scout from TubbyTheFat yet, so no scout from TubbyTheFat, and Fubar is scouting here a little bit later, so it looks like we had about a 14 scout. Like once he finished that barracks, sent his worker down to go start scouting his opponent. So now we do see that the Cybernetics Core is coming down on the side of TubbyTheFat, and he's got a Zealot on the way as well. So I think this is most likely the most standard opening. I saw Artosis doing the same kind of opening against Reapers as well. Just get out the one Zealot, and then usually follow it up with a Stalker once you see that Reaper out. Let's see if that is going to be the... Did he just cancel the Zealot? He did just cancel the Zealot. He waited until it was almost done, and then he just canceled the Zealot. That was a really interesting move, and now he's got a Mothership Core on the way. Huh. Why the cancel on the Zealot? That's really interesting to me. The cancel on the Zealot, what could that mean? I mean, I guess it gets you up the little bit faster Nexus, but why start it in the first place? What is it that you're worried about that's coming in the first place that you have to deal with, that you might need that one Zealot for? I'm not exactly sure. I mean, he hasn't scouted his opponent at all, so I mean, I guess it'd be good for holding off any kind of early barracks pressure, but now he's got the Mothership Core out, so that's all he's going to need to really be able to hold off this Reaper and everything else, and he should have a Stalker on the way. Yeah, definitely need a Stalker if you're going to be able to deal with that, with the fast movement speed of that Reaper in that early game. Now Fubar is just going to be going straight into a command center after that Reaper, and I like that opening a lot. I like that opening because it means that you're getting a lot of good scouting information, and at the same time you are going to be taking your expansion behind it, so it feels pretty safe to do this, even though you're only doing it on one barracks. He's getting up a pretty quick reactor that's allowing him to go into double marine production, and with that bunker at the front, he's going to be pretty safe, so there's not a whole lot his opponent can do. And of course, if he doesn't see the Nexus here, you can always just cancel it, or build it on the high ground, and then throw down more barracks and bunkers on the high ground here. Now we do have a very fast +1 infantry upgrade weapon, +1 infantry weapons upgrade coming down here for Fubar, and so let's check out the worker count right now. Looks like TubbyTheFat is a little bit ahead, 26 harvesters now to 22. This is a very normal for Protoss versus Terran, of course, because Terran has mules, so TubbyTheFat, in order to compensate for the mules of his opponent, has to spend his Chrono Boost, or his racial, oh god, I can't remember what it's called, racial boost thing, to get out more workers so that he can make up for that economy lost. So, or the economy that he's not getting from the mules. So now that this gateway is down, I would presume that we're going to see 2 more gateways coming down. I think it's usually pretty standard after this to open up into 3 gateways and a robotics facility. So we do see, yeah, there we go, 3 gateways coming down right now, and there's the robotics facility down as well. And it looks like this Reaper going to jump in here one more time to try to scout the tech of his opponent. He's going to be able to get in here. He does see the 3 gateways going down. But this robotics facility, this is pretty standard. A lot of Protosses do this, open 3-gate robo after they take their expansion. Likewise, Fubar is now opening up into barracks, so he's gotten a couple more barracks down. He's starting his factory now, as well as his next gas geyser, and he's just starting to get up SCVs down at the natural expansion. So now he didn't get a full scout of his opponent's base, so he's getting up a second bunker here, just playing it very, very nice and safe. I like that. And in the base of TubbyTheFat, we just see a warp prism on the way, and we see a robotics bay coming down as well. So he's just going to be, this is just going to be a pretty standard opener into Colossi, I think. We do have a hallucinated Phoenix that's moving across the map. It does manage to get out the scout on absolutely everything. Sees the scout timing on the factory, so he's going to know that his opponent isn't going to have medevacs here quite yet. It's going to take him a little bit to get those medevacs up, and he's going to be able to see the gas timing at the natural expansion. So not bad here. Gas now being taken here, just gonna be taking 1 gas at a time, kind of getting up his gas a little bit slower here because he's gonna be doing fairly mineral heavy things. And yes, I love that both of these players are just doing really, really normal, standard things right now, because this is the kind of stuff that I like to see. That after he went for an expand and he went 3 barracks, then his starport doesn't start till about the 8:30 mark, and it looks like it's going to be done around the 9-minute mark. So that means that his medevacs won't be done till about, what, the 9-minute 30-second mark, 9-minute 45-second mark. So with this kind of fast expansion, you don't expect medevacs until about around the 10-minute mark. That's when you can expect medevac pushes and drops and things. So that's really, really useful to know. So I'm going to keep that in mind. That's something that I'm going to remember. Robotics Bay is actually researching gravitic drive right now, interestingly enough, not the extended thermal lance. So his warp prism is going to start to move really, really fast. Recently, of course, there was that buff to warp prism speed, and look at how quick that thing is right now. Going to drop off 2 zealots in the mineral line here. Going to be dropping off 2 in the main as well. He's going to be able to pick up quite a few worker kills right now. So far, only 2 workers killed, but the zealots are still in the mineral line there, and looks like those ones have been cleaned up. So not a bad bit of a harassment there by TubbyTheFat, because he lost a few zealots there but got 3 worker kills. Not bad. And behind this, he's taking a 3rd, because now with this pressure on his opponent has to be defensive, right? His opponent has to deal with this. As long as he keeps threatening with this warp prism, then his opponent just kind of has to sit back and be defensive, right, until he has enough forces to be able to split his arm, until he can send stuff out. Whoa, he actually does manage to catch that warp prism out there, though. Nice move there by Fubar, and look at that. The second the warp prism pressure is gone, he starts to move out across the map. Now, back at home, TubbyTheFat has been making a lot of Colossi. His extended thermal lance is now on the way. He does have a +1 ground weapon, so he's been neglecting his upgrades up until now, and we see just now the Twilight Council being started here. And I think this is something that we see a lot from Protoss players, and that is going to be, I like this forward pylon, by the way. This is a really nice forward pylon. Allows him to know if anything's coming, so he can be defensive here and defend this ramp and this ramp from here. But if forces start to come down that way, he's going to know about it right away because of that pylon. Now there is a drop going down, double drop going down in the main right now, and so now, ooh, all the units are, he's going to have to divide up his forces because there's more forces coming straight down the center of the map, and it looks like 1 Colossi going to be pulling back to start to be able to deal with this, a couple of Zealots as well as the Photon overcharge going down here. In the meantime, some units are pushing in through the front here, but TubbyTheFat did a very good job of splitting up his units here, and he's going to start to push that back pretty easily there, and it looks like, oh, medevac's starting to get focused down there. Fubar going to need to lift and get out of there because all the units of TubbyTheFat, while they have been pulled out of position, okay, they're not going to go defend against that drop. So he actually is going to lose that 1 gateway, but this 3rd is now up and mining, as opposed to his opponents, who is just starting now here around the 12-minute mark. Looks like that drop going down once again. Looks like 1 medevac finally did go down here, but we are going to have some pressure coming down the other side. Looks like Fubar going to try to deny that 3rd base from going down here. And nice little move there by TubbyTheFat as he manages to surround that from the high and low ground. Oh, but these forces are going to be spinning forward here, going to start to focus down this Nexus, and I don't think that TubbyTheFat can do anything about it. His units are still a little bit far off right now. The Stalkers are going to get here in time, but it looks like that Nexus is going to go down. Yeah, with another stim, that Nexus is for sure going to go down, and TubbyTheFat is actually supply blocked right now, so nice move there by Fubar, evening it up, and now taking the lead by having his third base going down. Now, what do we see going in the base of Fubar? We see that he's been producing a lot of medevacs up till now, but now the reactor starport, the reactor factory has come down. Is he actually producing off of that, or is he just going to be swapping that onto a barracks? Looks like no, he's actually going to be starting some Hellbat production out of that base, but oh god, there's a whole lot of Colossus out here. He needs to be real careful. It looks like he's just going to be pulling on home, and now he's going to start to be a little bit worried. We see the Dark Shrine going down now for TubbyTheFat, as well as the Templar Archives, plus 2 ground weapons going down, and more Colossi just continuing to be pumped out. And this is now a very scary push here from TubbyTheFat. He's going to be able to do some damage, might even be able to take this orbital command here, because the Viking count here isn't that high. Right now we're only sitting on 4, and there's not a whole lot of ground forces out here, and it looks like TubbyTheFat is getting into position to start to deny this third base, as once again he's retaking this third of his own. So it looks like he's going to get now into this third. All the SCVs have been pulled off the line, and oh, beautiful force fields going down there for TubbyTheFat. Nice, calm force fields go down, and he's able to not completely pick off that third base, but oh, taking a lot of damage on that mothership core, and the mothership core is going to go down. That's going to give him, he needs to be a little bit more careful now, because he can't just warp back home. This orbital command does get saved here, but he's denied a lot of mining time, and he's killed a lot of workers. If you check out the workers killed count, 19 workers killed so far for TubbyTheFat, and now, oh god, it's a race right now for both players to get back home, because Fubar is going to be racing his opponent back home, and oh god, look at the mini-map, they're both moving back. In the meantime, more gateways have come up here, but do we have a whole lot back home? So far, we do not. I'm trying to see if there are any Dark Templar. Oh no, this entire army of TubbyTheFat is cut out in the middle of the map here, and there's quite a lot of stuff out here, and it looks like all of that is going to go down. That is definitely a bad position for TubbyTheFat to be in, and it's all because he lost that mothership core. With that mothership core, he could have just teleported right on back home, and now he's got pretty much nothing. He's got this little group of units right here, but the Viking count is starting to get pretty high. There's a lot of Hellbats here to be able to absorb any zealots, but it looks like there's actually not a big zealot composition here, but there are marauders here to be able to deal with those stalkers. And here we go, we have a few High Templar that are in the army, but they don't have enough energy yet. But Psionic Storm need to wait till they have another 6 or 7 energy there, and oh, all the Templar are being focused down. They are going to go down now. Some zealots being warped in to be able to deal with this push coming from the front, and oh god, this is not looking good for TubbyTheFat, as he's now being forced to pull in. Oh, that must feel so terrible. This is pretty much all because he lost that mothership core, and now the natural expansion goes down. Oh, TubbyTheFat sitting at 65 food to the 130, 140 now of Fubar. So Fubar's in a fantastic spot. I keep watching for the DT. There's got to be a DT that's going around, because he's got to try to get some counter damage, but I think it might just be too late now, and I think TubbyTheFat just going to be forced to GG out of this, and it looks like, yeah, Fubar going to be focusing down that Nexus, and that brings TubbyTheFat down to no mining bases. Nice Psystorm going down there, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough, as Fubar has been able to take out 72 workers. Worker count currently 59, harvesters 29. Third base reestablished here for Fubar, even taking another command center behind this. Main pretty much mined out here, and TubbyTheFat is forced to GG out of that game. So that was a nice little game. I felt like that was very standard play from both these players, and I learned quite a bit about how they do these kind of just normal standard old builds. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. We're going to go into one more game. I want to check out a TVT game, so we're going to jump into that in just a moment, so stick around. TVT on Glitch Selfish Day, coming up in just a second.